number of people that come, if you guys want to move over here, we'll have a more intimate class where we can actually talk and like interact a little bit better, if you don't mind. Mark, you're in good spot. We can really make hay while the sun shines if it's only us, right? Make this purposeful and to the point, give you guys. So, let's see, I'll give you guys this.
Quick question before we start. Did we get anywhere with the health insurance that we were?
We've
Nothing.
not.
Okay,
Unfortunately.
okay. Thank you.
I'm talking to someone else soon, but the people I had hope in didn't come through. It wasn't worth it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna start. People can come if they want after. All right, let's get going. I don't wanna keep it too long, but I wanted to kind of make sure that if nothing else, you come away with a better understanding of what profit share is. Maybe having a plan to enjoy it like some of us do, right? So some of you get profit share, right? I know Tracy does, Leticia, myself. So it's literally a gift. Mo Anderson says it's a gift that Gary Keller set up for everybody. So if nothing else, it'll give you an idea. If somebody brings it up, you can probably have a better conversation after today, is really what I'm hoping for. But I really would like to help you build your downlines and build the company that way, because the warm leads coming from you guys are much better for Mike and myself than cold leads, just going after people, right, whatever. So I'm gonna go with what Keller Williams teaches, because I think what happens in a lot of these classes is we go off script kind of thing, and we probably don't hit exactly what they want us to know about it too. So I'm just gonna kind of go through the Keller Williams University material a little bit here, and we can talk. So you guys know I'm an open book, so you can ask any question you want. You can bring me the tough stuff, bring me the stuff that you've been thinking about, whatever, and we can discuss it. So I'll be flexible, but I want to give you the material. I want you to know too, this is on KWU on your intranet, so you can pull this up and look at it again later. So what we want to try to accomplish is basically we need a plan. We need to know what it is, and we need a plan, right? We need to know why we want to do profit share and why we do it in the first place, right? What was the intention of it, and what is the intention still when it was created and now? How's it work, right? How do you build a tree? What does that mean? Profit share tree, right? As far as building a plan to do it, it can at least give you something that's more on top of your mind than maybe what you have now. And then at the end, we'll talk about what did you learn, what kind of came to your mind, like, oh, that was good, right? So what I want to ask you guys first, you heard that this was about profit sharing, right? The ads went out, the emails and the Facebook stuff. What do you want to learn about profit share? Just throw it out.
I just think just to be able to know what to say
Great.
when you're speaking to the other co-ops.
Yep. Okay. What else?
How do you know when, like, I guess you get money from the profit share?
Know how to get money?
Well, like, let's say someone that is in your downline does a transaction, you're supposed to get a portion of it. When do you know that, like, you're gonna get that?
Okay.
Someone comes in?
We'll hit that. That's good. Anything else you're thinking about?
You have to approach the person.
How to approach them, okay.
Like
yeah.
I started talking to another agent, and she like, if you're going to try to recruit me, I don't want to have coffee with you.
Yeah.
And I, okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do that.
I just did a deal with a Keller Williams agent from another, I think it was like Montgomery County.
Sure.
somewhere. And she said, if you weren't already with Keller Williams, I would try to recruit you.
Yeah,
I was
'cause
like,
she
oh,
liked
thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause she
She was
liked it.
great, like everything was perfect.
She's like, you'll fit in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, you're already with us.
Yeah.
Anything else you're thinking before you came in here? What you wanted to learn about profit share? All right, So I'll probably hit some stuff and you can bring questions up as you think of them as we go. So I wanna try to hit these three things for sure. But one of the things, if we have a desire, particularly in business in any way, we actually, the more you talk to me and see me, right, we're gonna talk about a plan, right? So that's what Keller Williams teaches, we gotta have a plan. So what is the plan? Like, how do I approach somebody? How do I get coffee with them? And things like that. So we're gonna talk about knowing how to build passive income and what passive income is. Have a plan in place to activate your passive income potential, because the potential is unlimited. You know, I just took a class, Train the Trainer Advanced, and there was a guy from Pittsburgh, Keller Williams in Pittsburgh, and he showed his profit share tree, and he made $97,000 last year. He's like, look, it's life changing, you know, and he's been with the company for like 12 or 13 years, not like forever, you know, 12 or 13 years. He only had 14 people on his first line, but he had like 1,000 in his 7 levels. So like his 6th and 7th level had 300 plus and 400 plus. So he was making a lot of the money off of his 6th and 7th level, which was people he didn't even know.
So,
Yeah, okay.
how do you do so, I mean, how do you get that many people? I guess
Yeah.
I'm like, I just.
So think about this, Gary Siegel is in our region, he's a Bluebell, Doylestown, whatever. He makes, I think it's like $500,000 maybe, something like that.
$250,000 a year.
Yes, but he's more than that now. He's at, I don't think he was involved. No.
There's someone in here that was like talking about.
He makes about, like the highest months are like 65,000 a month.
Oh, God.
But I think the last time I talked to him, it was approaching 500,000 for the year.
Can I tell you a funny story? And I hate to bother your class, but I was sitting next to Gary Siegel at a class, and I said, Gary, it's the 21st. I go, let's see what our profit share is. And I go, oh my God, I got $2,000. I go, what was yours? He goes, 45,000. But I'm not kidding you. It was like, it was for real. I saw his number.
Well, you're happy for $2,000 too, right?
Oh
Because
my
it's free,
God,
right?
yeah.
I mean, that's life changing, that's your mortgage payment or something, right?
Exactly, car payment.
So how do you do it? You bring in somebody, they bring in somebody, they bring in somebody, and all those people start bringing in people, and all of a sudden it's out of your control, you couldn't stop it if you wanted to, and you have 400 people on your 7th level. I mean, literally, it's that easy. So it's almost influential people, like Gary made a point 15 years ago to go after what he thought were leaders. So he was looking for OPs, future team leaders, and future mega agents who he knew would be influential to bring other people in. And that's what he went. He just didn't go after anybody, although it wasn't he was gonna turn people down. But his first level is not as impressive as all the other levels because they just grew so much, you know?
So did he coach those people then, or I mean, in order to get them to bring in more people?
He put in a lot of effort as far as going to meet with them, no matter where they were. He has a lot in North Jersey. When the North Jersey region, I think, opened, he basically helped recruit people. So he was already with Cato, he believed in it, and he went and got, I think, the Brands, who are in Doylestown, and then their son Michael became a regional director in North Jersey. So everything under Michael is in Gary's town. You see what I'm saying? So, interesting ways of doing it, right? He had a plan. I'll tell you right now, if he was standing here right now, he could tell you. I had a plan, and I executed the plan, and now I'm benefiting from it. I don't have to work anymore if I don't want to, you know? So he's right in our region. He's not some guy in Austin who, you know, got in the 80s, you know, or whatever. So why profit share for, you know, this is a question, people from outside this office or our offices don't understand it. Like, why? I just want to sell houses, leave me alone kind of thing, right? Well, we have a slogan that together everybody achieves more, right? We believe in rewarding you for helping the companies grow, right? So that's why, profit share. It's literally life-changing. It's revolutionary. Nobody's come up with this and no one's duplicated it except for Gary Keller. His purpose for doing it was so that no one would leave. They bring them value all times because we're paying you on the 21st for helping us grow the company, right? And we'll talk about how you make that money on the 21st and why it comes on the 21st and all that kind of stuff, yeah. So because truly together everyone achieves more. Also, one of our core values is win-win or no deal, right? So it comes with profit share too. It has to be a win-win. So if you bring us somebody, we want to make it a win for you, not just us as owners or us as a company, right? If you bring somebody, when you're at RE/MAX, you get nothing, right? And particularly you get nothing, they may give you a little bonus in the beginning if you bring somebody, something like that, right? I don't know what, they really don't have a plan for that. But they're not gonna give you monthly profit share, because they don't share profit. And they don't want to, and it's not in their model, right?
And they're going away.
And unfortunately, they're going away.
They are.
And unfortunately, they're becoming a dependent model, which is a traditional model. See, we're interdependent. So my success depends on your success and vice versa, right? But the dependent models are the Coldwell Bankers and the Weikerts and the Berkshire Hathaways, where the agent's dependent on the company. They don't get capped, they don't share anything, they don't get profit share. They're almost demanded to use their own title company. The conveyancing, I'm old school, but the broker services fee doesn't come back at all to the agent like we do, right? We're about profit. They're about profiting. It's different. We want to share profit. They want to profit off of you, right? So RE/MAX, my friends at RE/MAX now are on splits. 80-20, 70-30, stuff like that, right? They're not the 100% model that they used to be, which was what we used to call the independent model. Did the battery go out? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Just to keep it going. So they're an independent model normally, where they don't need the broker, they don't need a manager, right? They don't need programs and training. They're there to do their thing and go home. That's why I went to RE/MAX and I loved it for a little while. But then I wasn't growing and I was like, ooh, this sucks. Like, you know, so if you're doing well, RE/MAX used to be the place to be. It really was, before Keller Williams came around. There's no doubt about it. When you're at Coldwell Banker or Berkshire or one of those, and you're doing well, you don't need a manager. You're teaching the manager stuff sometimes because you're on the street, right? The managers are there because they can't sell anymore, in my opinion. They make a salary, they don't feel like being in the grind. You know, in sports we used to say, you coach when you can't play anymore. You can't jump anymore. You can't throw the ball as hard as you used to be able to. You can't hit it. I got older, I couldn't see it as well, right? I mean, it happens, you know, you get older. In the NFL, my nephew's in the NFL, you guys know that, right? In the NFL, you become 30, you're old. You're old at 30 years old. They kind of want to get rid of you because you're banged up, your body's beaten, right? They don't give long-term contracts to a lot of guys over their 30s, right?
That's ancient for a running back.
Yeah, running backs last 2-3 years because they just get their heads beat in, their bodies beat in. You think about these 330, 40-pound guys falling on you on the ground all the time, you know. So at the end of the day, I think you become a manager at some of these offices because you can't sell anymore, you don't want to, right? So then what happens is they become irrelevant because they're not on the street and they can't help you anymore. They have some experience, a lot of them, but that's not what we try to do at Keller Williams. That's why we call him a team leader. He's here to lead. Debbie, when she was a team leader, she was here to lead, not to manage, you know? So there's a different philosophy, and I think it's all mindset, which we talk about a lot here at this company, right? All right, so I believe profit share is also a mindset. You gotta have it on top of your mind, or you're not gonna do it, right? So let's talk about this. What profit share is completely, entirely, wholly, absolutely passive income. You really don't work for it. Because once you refer somebody into the company, they bring it in, not you, right? You can help them. Some of you guys are in my downline, and we've talked about building your line, which hits me. So it's a benefit, right? I will say one thing about Gary Siegel. He goes down his downline and calls all of them and congratulates them when they make a great profit share themselves, When he hears that they do something amazing, I mean, he's really involved, like, he's got a plan. And he'll go to them and teach them whatever they need, he'll, recruit for them, like if they don't wanna send it to their team leader, he'll go meet with them himself. Guess what all he has to do? Pull out his profit share and tell them, this is real, right? Last time I talked to him was like this summer last year, he made 65,000 on the 21st that month, the month that I was talking to him. I was like, 65,000 a year would be great, right? 1 month, what can you do with that? What good can you do with that money, right? And he doesn't sell real estate anymore, of course. These points I want to give you are really key, and I want you to really understand this. There is absolutely no financial risk with profit share. None. You make any other investment, for the most part, I told, some of you guys were here for the Wealth Building Wednesday when Tucker Brown came from Merrill Lynch, talked about money. When Tucker looked at this and I told him about this, he was like, this has gotta be illegal somehow. Like, I cannot believe you have no risk whatsoever. Nope. The only risk is the person dies and never sells another house and no profit share, but even that's not a risk on me, right? There's no legal risk. You cannot get sued with regards to profit share. None. You don't even have to talk to an attorney about anything. There's no review of anything they have to look at. How about this? There's no down payment. You don't have to invest $1. How awesome is that? If somebody told you guys, forget it's Keller Williams profit share, that you could get involved in a investment where you had no financial risk, no legal risk, no down payment, and you didn't have to make one phone call, would you be in? I guarantee you can make money. Right? That's what we're offering you right now. Think of it that way. It's almost like when I talk to people about this, they start to go, yeah, why aren't I doing this? Like, I don't do this for anyone else but me and the person I'm talking to. So I want you guys to know, we don't recruit. We don't. We refer. All of us are at Keller Williams for our own reason, whatever that is, right? Mm-hmm. And we think someone else, like, give you a quick example, Pat Wise Straley, she's in Newtown. She came to Keller Williams under Justin Gall. They were really, really good friends, family friends and everything. She was 30 years plus at RE/MAX. And she was not leaving RE/MAX for you could offer a lot of money, she still wouldn't have left. But when she heard about profit share and how we work and training and all the stuff that she really desired and wasn't getting, she came over with the idea, I'm leaving if this doesn't come true. I'm going back to RE/MAX. She didn't burn a bridge at all. She was with Barry Angeli. They're still really good friends. They have dinner. They're couples. Barry understood it, why she left, right? Because she did it for a business reason. So after about 6 months with the company, Pat got pissed at us. A lot of us that she knew that she had done co-ops with. And we were like, what's your problem? Like, what is wrong? She's like, I'm so mad you guys didn't tell me about Keller Williams sooner. Why would you not have told me? And we're like, we thought you were RE/MAX. You pretty much said, don't recruit me, I'm not coming. Whatever. You didn't want to know. And I said, look, you came when you trusted Justin was coming, right? You came when someone you trusted told you the deal. If I would have gone to you just because we were doing a co-op, you're like, come on, I'm not leaving RE/MAX, I got a good deal here, or whatever, right? Now she goes around telling everybody, tell people you don't think want to come. They need to know. You're holding back. It's like you have the cure for cancer. I don't mean this in a dramatic way, but you have the cure for cancer and you don't tell anybody, right? Why would you do that, So what's passive income in the first place, right? Money you receive without doing anything actively to earn it. That's what profit share is. If I bring Nancy in, she sells houses because Nancy wants to sell houses and provide for her family. Not because she wants me to make profit share, right? Nancy actually doesn't care if I make profit share. She's probably happy that it's working, the system works, yeah. But she's not doing it for me, right? So no one does it for you. We have to understand, it's for them. We're talking to them about the opportunity, for them, not for us.
Can I?
Yeah,
Okay. When I came to Keller Williams, my sponsor,
yeah,
I had no idea who she was. I met her at a Board of Realtor function,
yeah,
and we started talking.
yeah. And you're somebody that all of us would have thought would never leave RE/MAX.
Right, I was there
Right.
18 years.
She's there 18 years, she's probably the number one agent in her office, in production and things. I mean, she's one of the top. You don't think the tops are gonna leave. They're actually the ones that are gonna leave, I believe, because they want something they don't have, and they don't know what it is.
So engaging people that, even like we were sitting at a round table, engaging people you don't know and just start talking.
And she wasn't recruiting you, she
No,
was
she
just
wasn't.
telling you what we're about,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Something rang true for her to look into it more.
Mhm.
I remember Lee Rubin came in under me when we first opened up. Lee and I were friendly, but we weren't close, right? She literally would run me over in the hallway at RE/MAX at Luxembourg because she was so busy and she didn't care. Everybody was in it for themselves. But I'd be in the hallway talking to somebody and she'd bump into me as she's going out. I'd be like, what was that? And I'm like bigger than her, you know, so it didn't hurt me, but I was worried if it hurt her, you know. But she was like focused and doing it. I never thought Lee would come. But so I met with Lee after I came here because she was curious, like what would make you go to Langhorne from Newtown? You know, we had a really nice setup at Luxembourg Corporate Center where no one even knew we were there. It was awesome. We never had to see our broker owner, never. Like, it was great. For me, it was great. Leave me alone, let me sell houses, right? That was my attitude. Well, Paul Allen came and told me about Keller Williams. Took me to Austin and I met Mo Anderson and Gary Keller in a group setting. And I remember thinking, if these guys are for real, this is unbelievable. But back then it was Keller who? We wore shirts here that said Keller on the front and a question mark with who underneath it and the back. Because everyone asked, who's Keller Williams? Keller who? What? You know? And then all of a sudden, we started kicking everybody's butts and there's red signs out there everywhere and they're like, oh, I know who Keller Williams is, right? Now, they definitely know who Keller Williams is, right? So we're not fighting the brand anymore, because we want you to brand yourself. We never cared about branding the company. Gary Keller came to Philadelphia. You guys went to his book tour for The One Thing. I think it was at Temple University.
It
You were
was
there,
at
right?
the LaCoria Center.
Yeah, the Aquarius Center, and Deb, you were there too, right? Yeah, so we were there to hear him speak about the One Thing book. I was literally in like the second row. I was so close I could almost touch him. It was awesome. And I'll never forget the first statement he walks out and says. So he walks out on stage in a black t-shirt, black pants, black socks, and black sneakers, basically. And he says, how many of you are real estate agents? You know, I would say 70% of the crowd raised their hand. He says to everyone else, let me just talk to them for 1 second. Of the ones that are real estate agents, how many are with Keller Williams? I would say the majority of those raised their hand. He said, I want you to know something. The state of Pennsylvania is really rough on branding, I get it. But if they would allow us to take that KW logo off of everything you have, I'd be the first person to stand up and say yes. The logo doesn't matter, the agents are what matters. And I was like, owner of a franchise is saying that? That's foreign. When I was at Coldwell Banker, I remember hearing the CEO of Coldwell Banker speaking at something, saying, you're successful because of us. And I remember saying, you're full of crap. You have no idea what you're talking about. How could somebody stand up there as a basic, probably multi-$100 million guy and not get it? He has no company without us at Coldwell Banker, right? He's nothing without us. Gary Keller saying, I'm nothing without you. I was like, I'm gonna listen to this guy. This guy gets it. He knows who we are. I love what he said at Family Reunion. I'm back in the game as CEO because I'm gonna save your jobs. That's it. It has nothing to do with money, nothing. Zillow's going down. They're not gonna do this iBuyer thing and take buyer agencies out of the game. That's their goal. If you pay Zillow $1, you should stop. Because they're out to take you down. So is Redfin, so is probably EXP in the future. All this stuff is coming out now. It's interesting, they're gonna get rid of realtors. And they're gonna profit from it. They're gonna pay us $60,000 a year and maybe $200 bonus every closing we have, that's the goal. You know, there's not gonna be any, this is America. I always say, what a great country this is when I make a $20,000 commission check, right? Like what, and 100% because I'm capped. It's a great country and a great company, right? They're gonna try to take that away from us. I like the $6,000 100% checks too, so don't get me wrong, it doesn't have to be 20,000. I remember when making $6,000 back in the early 90s, it was a lot of money because that was a good sale. Because we were selling Society Place condos for 80,000. Right? I mean, I'm blessed to have the average sale price that my team has now. You know, the amount of the pay is so much better because of the appreciation we've gotten in my career. It's a beautiful thing. How does profit share compare to what? Question is, how does it compare to Coldwell Banker or Remax? There is none there. You might be able to buy in a title at Remax. You know what my title profit was quarterly? $200 for the quarter. Deb and I talked about that when she came to Keller. Because she was like, people are getting $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 a quarter here in title. I'm like, yeah. She's like, that's different than Remax. I'm like, yeah, that's different. You know,
The title people get it too, the profit share, but
no, we buy shares in the title company, the agents.
I don't really quite get that.
Okay, so we'll explain that later.
Right.
There's profit share in title here. There's also profit share in insurance now. You were able to buy in, right?
I certainly was.
She made the fit test, which is good,
Uh-huh.
which is good. We believe by performer, the insurance company's actually gonna be better than title.
All right.
It's insane.
I'll never retire.
She's gonna have too much fun getting his checks. I will tell you right now, that we kid around with some of the agents, I kid around with them, that I literally pay them to work here. With all their fees, they make more than that in profit share, in one way or another. They're over 100%. You know, Remax, we used to be prideful. I pay $2,000 a month, basically, right? And I make 100% commission. That was great compared to the traditional brokers, so I was happy with that, right? So whether I sold something or not, I still paid $2,000 a month, which wasn't fun, right? But if you were doing well, you do that every day. I'll give you $2,000 to make 10. Is that a good deal? You know, that's how it felt, right? So I was profiting $8,000, let's just say, in that scenario. I was profiting, in my mind, as a business person, I'm profiting $8,000 a month. Okay, well, that's good, right? So they say they're a 100% company, which, by the way, their rosters are full of splits now. They're not, they're maybe capping some of them, maybe not, but basically they're all on 70, 75, 80% splits at Remax for the most part. Except for the Linda Ventolas and a few others that do really well. They're grandfathered in, they would not change and go on a split to save their life.
So why isn't she here?
Linda is a good friend of mine, and I love her, and if you ever have a chance to do a deal with her, you'll be so pleased because she's amazing. She does not want to switch, she says she's too old.
Get out.
Yep. And she said it to me since the day we opened, and I still ask her every year, every time I see her, God.
I had a feeling that's probably true among the older agents
Yeah.
in general, and that the target should be for younger agents.
You know who the target is?
Me.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, can I tell you why? The target's me and my age, because when I came to Keller, the reason I came, and like you said, John, everybody had a different reason.
Yeah.
I came because I was getting older. I came because I don't have a 401k.
Yeah.
I was
I-
gonna say retirement, these
Yeah.
are
Right.
people, that's what I say when I'm trying to recruit someone, I'm like, do you have a retirement plan in your real
Correct.
estate company?
And-
No?
And I
No?
also came
That's
because
nice.
when I came 12 years ago, I was watching Gary Siegel, all the Remax agents, because I was a Remax, all the successful Remax agents
Mhm.
starting to go to Keller.
Mhm.
And I wanted to know why.
Yeah, yeah.
And here I am.
Pat Weiss Straley trusted Justin, but she called every
She called
former
me.
Remax.
Her and
yeah,
I used to work together.
every former Remax agent that she knew
Mhm.
that went to Keller and said, why did you come? And then she came. So they must have said something that impacted her, right?
Or they all had the same answer.
Yeah, true.
If she kept on seeing something and something.
Well, I'll tell you, we don't always have the same answers, but it's goodness. It's Mo Anderson's culture list.
I was gonna say, it's culture, it's your 401k, it's the training.
Yep.
You know, even being an old dog coming into this, it just changes your mindset.
Yeah.
I know I'm trying to, about the profit share, but even going into a class the other day, if you learn one thing,
Yep.
so you learn every day.
Yeah.
So it's all of that the other companies don't offer.
You know what? Who won't come is the one that knows everything. If they know everything, they don't need us. And here's what we all know: we don't know everything. There's something we can learn from each other. That's why we do this stuff, right? Because sometimes your ahas from a class actually teach the teacher or someone else in the class something. Because you went, oh, light bulb went on. I love Jim Fischetti. He was our old regional director, and he was my old coach, and we still actually talk on an every other week basis. And I love him because he's the biggest pain in the ass that I've probably ever met as far as the worst coach you really want to have, because there is no excuse that he'll accept. I mean, if your arm's not falling off, or you're not dead, you have no excuse for whatever that goal was to be achieved. But I love him for that too. But what he basically influenced me on is that everyone matters. Everyone. And they need to at least be given the opportunity. If they turn it down, it's okay, right? And sometimes now's not a good time, business-wise or family-wise, for them to make a move. I get that, right? But next year might be the right time, right? So timing's everything. It's like sometimes we get a listing appointment, you find out timing was perfect. You had just sent them something, or you just made a phone call, or whatever it was, right? Timing was everything. You could have called them 6 months ago and they would have said, hey, it's nice seeing you, or whatever, and that would have been it, So we talk about the CGI, and I'm not gonna hammer you over the head with it, but we understand appointments, listings, closings, GCI, right? That's what we wanna track to know our numbers. We wanna get to the point where this profit grows without us doing the fourth, that boop, 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 right? So if you have your downline growing, all of a sudden you're making money. I remember, sometimes you guys know that make profit share, sometimes I'll text you the night before you get your notice, because I get it first as an OP. So I can see that Nancy's gonna make, $1,600 tomorrow. So I'll text her and say, congratulations, Nancy, you're gonna have $1,600 in your bank account tomorrow. And all you guys text back, wow, thank you so much, whatever it is. But I remember earlier last year, probably mid-year, I texted Bud and Barb Silcox, you're gonna make $6,800 tomorrow. And they were like, what? And then the next day, it hit their account, and they said, we thought you were lying, it's in there. It hit. And that is fun for someone like me. Yeah,
I have a separate account,
yeah,
and since I've come to Keller and I don't touch it, I think I'm up to like $40,000 already.
unbelievable.
Wow.
Just a profit share.
Just profit share. We had people in KW Doylestown that were friends of mine. They did the same thing. And I think it was probably 6 years ago. They brought a big check in. They had crossed 500,000 that they had in a separate account that they hadn't touched. And that was 5 or 6 years ago. Can you imagine? They're probably doubled that now. Can you imagine having $1 million in your bank account? So I talked about experiencing 100%. That means you earn more than the commission split and royalty that you pay. Right? We have people at KW Langhorne that are there. It can be done, and it's not just in Austin or some other area of the country. It's here. It's not only Bucks County, it's in Langhorne, Bensalem. How's it work? An associate joins the market center and names you as their sponsor. Simple, right? We all understand that. You had to name somebody when you came, right? They close a property and pay company dollar. Seems simple, right? Their 30% goes in to the company. The market center has to be profitable. So if you refer them to a brand new market center that may not be profitable, you may not get it until they are, right? On the 21st of every month, which in this case would be the following month, they had a closing this month. So next month on the 21st, some of the market center's profit is automatically deposited in your account. After 3 years and a day, you're vested. You can leave the company and still get profit share. And your profit share tree can still grow because you probably can't grow it, right? Because you're not there, but the people under you will, because they're not doing it for you.
So many though, so many down, right? So many
7
from-
levels, it's only 7 levels down.
Now, if one of those associates leaves, can that be filled in by somebody else?
If they're not vested yet, it all shifts up, is my understanding.
Okay.
Yep.
But if they're vested.
But if they're
they
vested,
they stay there.
they
anyways.
stay.
Yeah, because they keep on making money and you make money off of it.
And their downline's still producing it. You can also give your profit share to a beneficiary, so you could will it to a family member or family members or however you want to do it. That's exciting, yeah. He's like, I'm getting it. I'm getting mine.
Yes.
Keep going, Mom.
I don't know if I'm getting it.
50%.
It'll be a good son. So, but this is unbelievable. My wife Carrie, some of you guys know her, right? She's the nicest person you probably ever want to meet, right, and everything. She doesn't think this is fair. She literally wants to talk to Gary Keller about fixing this. That if you leave, you shouldn't get a dime in her mind. You're not part of the system anymore. You're not benefiting the company anymore. Why? She wants to sit down with it. She's heard the story, but she wants to sit down and hear strictly from his mouth. Why would you still give them profit share when they leave? Particularly if they go to a competitor. Now, maybe if they get out of the business or something, she could understand. But if you go to a competitor, right, why give our profit to them? You know? It's because Gary and Mo said, that's the right thing to do. They still helped us build the company. I kind of agree with Carrie in some scenarios, but then you're picking and choosing winners and losers, and I'm not sure that's fair. And I think that's what they got away from, is picking people they liked and didn't like. Do you guys understand growth share and what that is? Okay. Growth share is anything outside of North America, because generally it's not in dollars. So it's another currency. Keller Williams is growing unbelievably internationally. We just brought in Italy and a couple other countries. Ireland, yeah, it was cool.
I know.
Yeah, so anybody you know, you should tell them about Keller Williams over there.
Where is, do you know where it is? Like, or, like, is there a way that I can look it up where?
Oh, yeah,
Like,
you can
where-
go online, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you go into the My KW, it shows you which cities you're in.
And they were at Family Reunion, they seem like really awesome people, yeah. And they were like so excited to be there. It was cool, really cool. So there was like 3 or 4 major countries that they just signed up in the last like 30, 60 days, whatever it was, before Family Reunion. Growth share is a residual income paid to Keller Williams Associates who helped grow the company outside of, I would say, just North America, Canada and USA. But it's there. It's profit share, we just call it growth share because it's not this, you have to translate the dollars and currencies and stuff. Associates who participate enjoy a portion of the region's bottom line. So they have growth share is a little different. It's not the market center,
It's the whole area.
it's the region that they're in, which is good, because my understanding is KW London is a weird place because they don't really sell real estate, they rent it.
Yeah.
Nobody buys anything because it's too expensive.
There's no more real estate over there.
And they're not, yeah, everything's built up in London, you know, there's no ground.
Yeah.
You have to go way out to find farms and stuff,
Talking Surrey or further out.
yeah. So how does the downline happen? Like what's the, I sometimes hate our terminology because it can be misconstrued, like downline, what does that mean and all that? And
I
you-
agree, I don't like that word at all.
Yeah, because really for me, it's an upline. It's you up, not you down, right? So you sponsor someone, or you get sponsored by someone, so you had to name somebody. So you are the red, your sponsor's below, right? So it goes up. Your sponsor's already here, right? And then your sponsor has a sponsor. So if you look at it this way, this is those people's seventh level. You are on their seventh level. 6, 5, and it keeps going forward, right? That's how the sponsorship goes that way. So you're really not building a downline, you're building an upline.
So wait, you get a portion of,
No,
no? Alright.
of them. They get a portion of you. They brought each other in.
Oh, alright.
You haven't brought anyone in yet.
But like basically, this was confusing me, so like there's different levels to it, do you get a portion of each of it, I guess?
No. They get a portion of your profit.
Yeah,
All
But,
7
like-
deep, yeah.
so like my mom is my sponsor, but her sponsor would get a portion of my stuff?
Yeah.
Yes.
7
Yep,
levels.
7 levels.
They get a little bit they get less and
Yeah.
less as it goes
Just a
deeper,
percentage.
but, yep, they all do.
Oh, so I thought it was only one level, and that was it.
7 levels.
7, honey,
Yeah, I
7.
didn't
So-
really quite get that.
So let's say, for a quick example,
Mhm.
that you bring in $1,000 of our profit.
Yes.
You contributed that month.
Mhm.
Your mom would get $500, 50%. The other 50% is split between the other 6 levels. So your mom would get $500, and the rest of them, if you added it up, would be $500. That's the easiest way to explain it. Yeah.
Talking about downlines for a minute, I was a member of a MLM company.
Yep.
And anyone that's a member of an MLM company, which everyone knows what that is, I assume,
Multi-level marketing.
knows what a downline is.
Mhm.
And all those people are potentially Keller Williams agents because.
'Cause they get it.
They're, and 95, and the statistics are 95% of them don't make any money.
Yep.
And they drop out and they tried something, so they're just out there. And I'm sure they don't know that Keller Williams has this
Yeah.
kind of program, so if
Yeah.
anyone knows someone like that.
The word's getting out because Stanford's doing research on Keller Williams every year now in their business school, coming out with what they call white papers. Stanford can't believe we do what we do. Because they look at RE/MAX and Berkshire Hathaway and all the major franchises out there and they say, well, they're not doing, why is Keller Williams doing this? You know, as a business school, they're trying to understand profit share, downlines, sell houses but capped expenses, like, you know. And what's coming out is they're impressed with our company, like unbelievably impressed. So it's kind of an honor to, I think Gary Keller is high ego, partly because he's going, you all doubted me, this works.
To stay grounded though still, that's amazing.
You know, the amazing thing is, this family reunion, he was different than any other time I've ever seen him. He hugged everyone that came on stage. Never saw him hug one person. He's kind of a get out of my space bubble kind of guy. Highly intelligent, you know, and really just wants to be purposeful in every breath he takes kind of thing, feeling. This time, lovey-dovey, said how much he appreciated his agents, how much he appreciated his TLs, how much he appreciated the OPs, the regions. Like, it was a love fest that I've never seen from Gary. And I think it's because he sees we better be family, truly like we say, or they're gonna take us down. Not other companies. Zillow, Amazon is gonna get in the real estate business, I think, right? Major mortgage companies, banks are gonna try to get into our pockets.
They're very concerned with Quicken Loans.
Yeah, Quicken Loans. Quicken is like, unfortunately, somebody that's a formidable foe because they have so much money.
Or maybe he changed his attitude because Mo had a talk with him.
I think so. I think so. You know what I think really happened? When John Davis stepped down, John was a bull. Great guy, did an amazing job, but he did not care about people's feelings enough. And that's what people felt. As successful as he was, and as much as everybody loved him, because he had great vision and ideas, amazing. But the way he got there, people felt run over, right, Deb? I mean, the numbers were too much for
Wow.
everybody, right? John said, I'm not the right guy to take us into this technology. I'm not as big a believer in understanding all the technology, because he was kind of old school. He's literally a football coach kind of feeling guy, right? So when he stepped down, Gary found out, oh, no one feels loved. Oh no, I gotta do something about that. And I think he truly changed his whole outlook and understanding of what's going on. And it's for the better. I'm telling you right now, it's for the better. He's only working for people like us at this point. He does not need to do all what he's doing. And investing $1 billion in the technology so that we can be the best. And so that people won't use Zillow. Because once they get our consumer app that's coming out next quarter, I saw it at Family Reunion, I was skeptical, to be totally honest. When I saw it, my jaw was on the floor. When I was in a room of 2,000 people, but I was close to the stage, and there was a 25-year-old kid with his phone plugged in showing us how this isn't gonna work. And I was like, that kid's brilliant, number one, he's a great presenter, but he knew what we wanted to see and how it's gonna work. And he's a consumer himself. I loved it, and this kid was like really, really good. And at the end of the day, our consumers, our buyers and sellers are gonna use our app over everything else, because it's gonna be that impressive. It's geared towards them and what they need. It guides them through the process, and it has them only speaking to us. I'm telling you right now, I wish I could just pull up those slides and go there right now. That's how excited I am about this.
Wait, we're getting our own app?
Well, we have our own app now, probably in some say beginning of second quarter, but Gary said end of second quarter, because I don't think.
May, June.
Yeah, I think he didn't want to promise too much,
Yeah.
too quick. But in the second quarter, it's gonna switch over to a new consumer app. It's gonna be, now
It's better than
Zillow will be nothing.
Yeah, because what I've like found recently, like a lot of my friends, like they'll just go on Zillow and
Yeah.
like, they're not really ready to buy a house yet, but they'll
Yeah.
just go there and just.
They're playing around.
They like to look at
Yeah.
houses basically, so.
Because Zillow's app is actually, I guess, one of the nicer apps.
Yeah.
Consumer
Friendly.
apps,
Yeah.
user friendly.
So it's
Our
easier.
current KW one is not, but our new one is.
The other thing is
phenomenal
Zillow
and
does
better than
ads
Zillow.
Is it?
on your TV. I mean, you see Zillow almost every day if you're watching TV for a little
Yeah.
bit, you know?
What's
So,
TV?
yeah.
I don't see it.
Yeah, I actually don't watch as much as I used to either. All right, trace your tree. How far back can you go? We've already talked about this, right? So this is an example of how it works once you start building your downline, okay? So we saw the slide had these two the last couple slides, right? So now these are people that name you, so that's your first level. And then they bring people, so this is your first level here, then they bring three, they bring three, they bring three. Now this is your second level. See how it looks like a tree?
Yeah,
That's why they call it a tree. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
How it grows and goes? Alright. So what should we focus on? If you don't read the slide.
Our first level.
Yeah, good, very good, you're so smart. Time will grow the other levels. Now, you can influence, in my opinion, your second level, because you can help your first level person find, people. But after that, you're probably not gonna be able to influence it too much. It's just gonna grow without you. Right? Is it too late? A lot of people from the outside say, oh, you should have gotten in the 90s or the whatever, No. There's $500 million last year. How can it be too late to get your portion of $500 million? Right? It's never too late.
It's gonna keep on growing.
The company's only in growth mode, right? We've seen it. No one is growing like us. If you look at the charts, Keller Williams is like this for the last 10 years, say. The other companies are like this. It's all the same. If they're not down, they're level. They're not growing. And what John Maxwell tells us in leadership, just for business, is if you're not growing in any business, if you're not growing, you're dying. You don't know it. You're not feeling it yet, but you're dying. That has to do with our individual businesses. That's why I'm so into Wealth Building Wednesday, teaching you guys tools and things like, that we talk about to do your own business. And it also has to do with growing market, market centers, wherever your friends are, wherever your contacts are. I tell a story about Carol Meal. Carol Meal was a good friend of Carrie's at my church. We had our first two kids. She had the exact same sex and the same age kids as well. So they were growing up together through like youth groups and stuff.
That's awesome, Rebecca.
Yeah, we have friends that did the same. Okay, so Carol used to tell us, when these kids get old enough and they're kind of more independent, I'm gonna get my real estate license to come work with you. And I remember saying to her, you would be great. She was amazing. Like if she was here right now, you guys would fall in love with her. She's funny and her name's Carol Meal. She doesn't work here. Probably when the kids were like 12 years old, she was just about to get a real estate license. Her husband got relocated to Colorado Springs, Colorado. So she moved out of the area. So a few years later, she called me and she says, John, I'm still interested in real estate, and you talk so highly of Keller Williams. I want to tell you, when I come out of my neighborhood, it's kind of a highway at the end of her neighborhood. I can only go right there. I can't go across and go left. But everything I go to is to the right. My grocery store, my kids' schools, my church, all that stuff is to the right anyway, so I never have to go left. But when I go right, 2 miles down the road, it's a big Keller Williams, red Keller Williams sign, and there's an office there. Can you help me get an interview with them? I want to learn how to get my license and start selling real estate. I said, no problem. I Googled Colorado Springs, Colorado, Keller Williams, right? Whatever. Comes up, team leader right there. I call the team leader. I give him Carol's name and number. He says, I'll call her as soon as we get off the phone. They're like, great. I said, you're going to love her. I promise you, this is not just some call. There's a random person come. She's going to be great. She's going to be a rock star. He says, great, I'll talk to her. She texts me 10 minutes later, I have an appointment to meet with him tomorrow at 11 o'clock. At 12 o'clock the next day, she says, I'm enrolled in a school, and I signed up with Keller Williams already. I'm just waiting to get my schooling and license going. I said, great, good luck. Let me know. Whoop, what?
You're hitting buttons.
Oh, sorry. I think that's where we were, right? Yeah, right there. Okay, so 6 months later, the printout of your profit share that you get? Carol Meal was on mine with $536. So I text Carol and say, did you sell a house already? And she goes, I was wondering if profit share worked and you were going to contact me because I had my first closing last month. I said, Carol, I took a picture of it and texted it to her. I made $536 from your broker, OP. She's like, this company's awesome. She goes, I'm going to build my